Rachel Zegler, the controversial lead of Disney's Snow White remake, has once again ignited a firestorm, this time by making a bold political statement in support of Free Palestine. The move has left Disney executives in full-blown panic mode, fearing that the backlash could spiral into a boycott of the film. And honestly, their fears seem well-founded. After all, you reap what you sow. And now, Disney is getting a bitter taste of its own medicine. The drama surrounding Snow White has escalated to such an extent that even Joe Rogan has jumped into the conversation. Yes, you heard that right. The podcast king, known for discussing everything from UFC fights to alien conspiracies, has now turned his attention to Disney's latest disaster. But before we dive into his take, let's rewind and break down how we got here. Back in August 2024, Disney dropped the first teaser for Snow White on YouTube. What should have been a moment of excitement quickly turned into an unmitigated disaster. Within weeks, the teaser became the most disliked movie trailer in YouTube history, amassing nearly 1 million dislikes compared to just 68,000 likes. The backlash was so swift that within the first 24 hours alone, the video had already racked up 193,000 dislikes, leaving Disney with a PR crisis of epic proportions. I came here purely because I saw on Facebook that this video has over 1 million downvotes, and I really wanted to be a part of that community. Wow, Disney, you truly are incredible. It took you 3 years, multiple rewrites, unnecessary CGI, and $29 million just for me to enjoy the comment section of a movie I'll never watch. Bless you. Fans point to a series of baffling creative choices. Instead of the beloved Seven Dwarfs, Disney originally planned to feature a group of diverse magical creatures, a move that backfired spectacularly when actors with dwarfism called them out for the decision. In an attempt to contain the fallout, Disney pivoted to CGI characters, but the results were lifeless and awkward, making fans wonder, how does a live-action remake feel less authentic than the original animated classic? And that, right there, is the core issue. Snow White is no longer the timeless fairy tale that generations cherished. It's become a corporate experiment in damage control, and audiences aren't buying it. But the controversy didn't stop there. At the center of the storm is none other than Rachel Zegler, cast as Snow White herself. While her casting initially sparked mixed reactions, it was her comments about the original 1937 classic that truly set the internet ablaze. In a resurfaced interview, Zegler dismissed the beloved original, calling it extremely dated and criticizing its romance, labeling it creepy and weird. Her remarks struck a deep nerve with lifelong fans who had cherished the timeless tale for generations. But it wasn't just what she said, it was the way she said it. Her dismissive tone came across as disrespectful, only adding more fuel to the growing backlash. Fans saw these remarks as disrespectful, not just to the original creators, but also to the generations who grew up cherishing Snow White as a timeless classic. Rather than distancing itself from Zegler's controversial statements, Disney appeared to double down, allowing her critiques to go unchallenged, a move that only further alienated their most loyal supporters. In an attempt to repair the damage, Disney sent Zegler on a press tour to promote the film. However, her attempts to backtrack felt forced and insincere. Fans weren't convinced by her sudden praise for the project, especially after her earlier viral critiques. Making matters worse, Zegler's portrayal of Snow White in promotional material seemed unrecognizable compared to the kind-hearted princess audiences adored. Instead, her version appeared brash and condescending, leaving fans wondering why Disney had strayed so far from the original character's charm. Then came another bombshell. A recently resurfaced 2022 interview with Entertainment Weekly revealed that Zegler had avoided watching the original as a child because it scared her so much. She doubled down on her past statements, calling the film extremely dated in its portrayal of women, and claiming that the remake would redefine the phrase fairest of them all to focus on justice rather than beauty. While some saw this as a modern twist, others viewed it as yet another attempt to erase the legacy of the original. Soon, TikTok was flooded with backlash, with users contrasting Zegler's comments to those of Halle Bailey, the star of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Unlike Zegler, Bailey had celebrated the original story while embracing her own interpretation, winning over many skeptical fans. Bailey's respectful approach to The Little Mermaid earned her praise, as she embraced the original while bringing her own interpretation to the role. In stark contrast, Zegler's dismissive attitude felt like a rejection of the original film's magic. One viral comment summed up the backlash perfectly. Disney somehow managed to cast someone as Snow White whose entire personality on a marketing tour is, "I hate Snow White." The backlash wasn't already intense. Rachel Zegler's outspoken nature only added more fuel to the fire. In a now viral video, she was caught rolling her eyes and scoffing when asked about Snow White's traditional love story. Her dismissive attitude did not sit well with fans, who felt she was mocking a beloved classic rather than honoring it. The internet erupted with criticism, with many pointing out how previous Disney princess actresses had shown deep respect for their roles. In contrast, Zegler appeared embarrassed by hers. This only intensified speculation that Disney executives were regretting their casting choice. According to insiders, the studio scrambled to contain the growing backlash, even considering limiting Zegler's press appearances to prevent further controversy. However, the damage was already done. Every interview clip, every resurfaced comment, all of it only reinforced the narrative that she was the wrong fit for the role. The situation took yet another dramatic turn when Rachel Zegler publicly voiced her support for Free Palestine amid the ongoing political conflict. While some praised her for taking a stand, others saw it as yet another controversy, one that Disney was completely unprepared to handle. The timing couldn't have been worse. The studio was already struggling to recover from the Snow White backlash, and now they found themselves thrust into a politically charged storm. Conservative media outlets quickly seized on the story, with pundits calling for a boycott and arguing that Disney had become too politically divisive. This left Disney in a no-win situation. If they distanced themselves from Zegler, they risked alienating a portion of their audience. But if they stood by her, they faced an even greater backlash. What started as a controversy over casting and creative choices had now escalated into a full-blown cultural battleground, one that Disney was desperately trying to escape. The release date fast approaching, Disney's marketing strategy has taken an unexpected yet telling turn. Rather than placing the spotlight on their lead actress, Rachel Zegler, the studio has dramatically shifted focus to Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen. Early trailers and promotional materials began featuring Gadot far more prominently than Zegler. Movie posters downplayed the presence of Snow White herself in favor of the villain. Interviews, teasers, and press junkets put Gadot front and center, making it clear where Disney's priorities now lie. Naturally, this sudden shift hasn't gone unnoticed. Fans and critics alike immediately speculated that Disney was deliberately downplaying Zegler's role, not out of creative choice, but as an act of damage control. Industry analysts have pointed out what many already suspected. Zegler, once positioned as Disney's next big star, has now become a symbol of everything fans feel has gone wrong with modern Disney. Her dismissive attitude toward the original film alienated audiences. Her public statements mocking classic Disney romances sparked widespread backlash. The studio's silence in defending her suggests they recognize she's become more of a liability than an asset. Instead of doubling down on their original messaging, Disney's last-minute pivot to Gal Gadot suggests they're well aware of the controversy, but have no real solution. The marketing shift is a desperate attempt to salvage what they can, but at this point, it's unclear if any of it will actually make a difference. With all eyes now on the film's opening weekend, one major question remains. Can Disney turn this around, or is this the beginning of a new era of accountability for Hollywood's biggest studio? Audiences are no longer willing to blindly accept corporate reimaginings of beloved classics, especially when they feel those classics are being mocked or rewritten to push a narrative.